So my be still moment, um, it started in the latter part of 2019. At the time, I had my own place, my own apartment, 3 bedroom. It was a nice apartment, Um, and God led me to move out of the apartment. It didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, Lord, why am I leaving? Like, nothing's wrong. I'm not behind on bills. You know, I wasn't being forced out or anything. Even to the point my landlord was like, why are you moving out? And I just had to do what God was leading me to do. So from there, I went to live with my godmother for about a year, sleeping on her basement floor. Now, when God led me out of my place, I had no plan lined up. I had nothing in place or anything. I just had to trust God. So I was there for about a year. And during that time, God led me and told me, like, hey, the reason why I have you in this season is because I've called you to the homeless. So I need you to go through it one last time. Because this was not the first time I had been homeless. I've been homeless as a child. Some circumstances happened with my mom to where we got evicted and had nowhere to go. And then once, when I was about 19, another, situation similar, you know. Um, but yeah, so God said, this is the last time you have to go through this, but you do have to go through this. I did not know that it was going to lead to a 3-year period. So during that time, it was tough. Not financially or anything. It was just tough to know that, hey, I am working. I am able to have my own place. But it was tough to be in a space of just being content with where I was at. And after the first year, I just knew it was over. Like, okay, Lord, I did what you asked me to do. You know, um, I applied for an apartment. Actually, I didn't apply for an apartment. Someone told me about an apartment that was available, and I got the landlord's number, and they set up a viewing for me to come look at the apartment and everything. I liked the apartment, and I think I went to view it on a Friday, and I said, hey, if you give me until next Friday, I will have the first month's rent and deposit for you. But just give me until next Friday. He said, okay, no, that's no problem. By that Tuesday, I had the money that I needed to pay them for the apartment. So I'm excited, like, okay, that's gotta be God. Like, he provided the money before the date, like, you know. So I called the landlord, and he said, I'm sorry, we gave the apartment away. So in that moment, I realized that season of me being homeless wasn't over. Here it is. I went to view an apartment that I heard about, and I agreed upon these things with the landlord, and money came in early, for me to pay these things, and it just didn't work out. So in that moment, I had to really, really be content and just wait on God. There's a song by Maverick City Music called Gyra. There's a line in the song that says, I will be content in every circumstance. Jireh, Jehovah Jireh, who's God, you are enough. And I had to live that out. So from there, I went to I had to leave my godmother's house because we just had an agreement. You know, agreements are agreements, so I had to leave there. From there, I went to um, my friend's house. He had an extra room, and um, slept on the floor there for about another year. you know, uh, and it was a very humbling experience because here it is, you know, I have a nonprofit for the homeless. And during these times, we're still showing up to feed the homeless. And once we're done, I'm going back to being homeless. And there's different levels of homelessness. You have people who are like house to house, don't know how long they're going to be there, or as you would say, couch surfing. You have people who are on the streets, who are under the bridges, who are in the shelters. But homelessness is homelessness. And that's what I was going through. So um, it was humbling because I had to be able to bring my son over, on the weekends, and we would create pallets on the floor, sleep on the floor. And, at the time, my son is 9 now, turning 10 in July, but the time he was younger, and, kids have questions like, Dad, when can I get my own bed? Like, Dad, when can I have my own room? Like, how long are we going to have to do these things? Like, and what do you say to a child? Like, God is going to work it out. He's going to get us out of this soon. So, and I'm grateful for everyone that opened their doors to me. And then from there, uh, I went to my dad's house. I felt like things were getting better because I at least now had a bed. I at least had a bed, my own space to put my stuff, a little more freedom and things like that. So it just was an indicator that the season was changing. At the time, I was attending a church in Avondale, um, Bible believers, actually, Pentecostal church. And pastor came up to me like, "Hey, I have a friend that's a landlord, and he wants you to come see an apartment this week." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." We set it up, went to go see the apartment, went to view the apartment. And let me tell you about just being still and the be still moment. Those moments, God will humble you. God will make you come to grips with reality, you know, um, to where you view things differently. You have different perspective on things. So let's be honest, that's where I currently live. Where I currently live now, probably in the beginning, before the season of the be still moment, I probably wouldn't have went for it. But at this moment and point, when I viewed the apartment, it was everything I needed for me and my son. My son had his own room and everything. And the landlord told me it's mine if I want it, and gave an outrageous deal that's unheard of in this market. With inflation, with everything that's going on, with the spiking of rent, not only in the city but in the country. Like, I know this was God saying that this season is over of homelessness. Now you can go on and continue to do what I have for you to do. So I would say that would be my be still moment. I went through 3 years of homelessness while serving the homeless. Like, I was helping get people places, and I was sleeping on the floor. We were doing events, raising money and bringing awareness to the homeless, um, booking national artists and stuff. And once the events were over, I'm going home to sleep on the floor, you know, with my little blanket. So my name is Jordan Brooks. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a child of God. I'm a musician. and I found it, and I lead a nonprofit here in Cincinnati, Ohio, called the Joe Bro Foundation. Um, we literally just updated our mission statement, but I want to share that with you. Our mission is simply to empower and uplift the underserved, restoring hope and dignity to those impacted by homelessness and substance dependency through compassionate provision of essential resources. So, what we specialize in is food distribution, hot meals, clothing, basic necessities, and transitional services. So, we just try to help people where they need help the most. For me to take care of my mental and emotional health, I first things first, I pray. I pray, I worship. That's an outlet for me. I play. But I spend time with my family, with my wife, with my son. We do fun things. But I say personally, uh, some things I've added into my life. I go to therapy. I have a therapist I go to every other week. And it really helps to have that sounding board. You can just get things off your chest. It's not good to hold things in. Everybody needs someone. And even for the foundation, one of our mottos is we have set out to reinstate the belief that one can depend on someone else. So you need someone. Also, my favorite thing to do is to go fishing. um, During the pandemic, once everything shut down, we couldn't do anything. Um, the governor of Ohio put out a mandate like, hey, we now can leave the house, but you can only go to the park. You can only do outside activities. And one of those activities was fishing. So I used to fish as a kid, but I hadn't done it in years. But that going through something none of us have ever been through before, a whole global pandemic, to where the whole world was shut down. Sometimes that can cause some mental, issues. So I say fishing during that time is something that was started in me, and I just kept it since. So sometimes I'll go to the lake, I'll fish, but I'll just sit and just get out my thoughts and pray and things like that. So that's very therapeutic. Even if I don't catch anything, that's fine. It's just that time away. Sometimes you need to just steal away somewhere, get away to just being by yourself, So yeah, that's what I do. Some wisdom I can share for someone that's going through a be still moment is be still. Let God lead you. It's okay. Whatever you're going through, it's okay. It will get better. One thing about life that I realized is that everything has a season. So not just, winter, spring, summer, fall, but if you think about circumstances in life, if you consider it as a season, then you realize that seasons do change. Seasons are not forever, and it's going to be okay. So when things get really rough, just remember that seasons do change, and God is in control, and He has you. It will get better. Oh, is that it?